Okay, everybody, what we're going to do today, or what we're going to talk about today, first of all, yesterday I did a video. Let me pull it up real quick, and I'm going to mute that real quick. But basically, yesterday we had a hearing on HR House Resolution 11, which basically changes um, some of the rules in the House. And the reason why I did this video is because what it does, it consolidates even more power into the hands of the Speaker of the House and the floor leader than what we've had before. To where they control almost everything. As far as what goes in the committee, what goes on the floor, and things like that. It was really bad last year from floor leader Dean Plocker, the stuff I dealt with, and now they're really trying to concentrate everything. But what we're going to do today is, first of all, go back to that. If you haven't checked it out, basically here's what you do: house.mo.gov, and we're going there. And first thing what you want to do is go down here, and where it says Media Center, go to Video Archive. Now, if you already seen the session yesterday on here, or you went there in person, that's fine. But for those of you who haven't, once you click on that, you're going to come over here, and you're going to have up at the top, it's going to say Consent and House Procedure HR3. That's the room that it was in. So we're going to click on that, and what it'll do, hopefully, maybe, it'll pull it up. And this is about 5.5 hour video, but the first 2 hours, yeah, the first 2 hours is on this HR 11. Okay, and they basically had a bunch of, some couple of people went in and testified against it, and of course, it went through the committee. I would highly suggest you go back and watch that if you haven't seen it yet. But for those of you who did, and for those of you who sent in the testimonies and all that, which I told you how to do whatever yesterday, and I'm sure a lot of people were doing that way before I even put the video out, because I kind of came out at the last minute. But anyways, concerning that, what I'm going to do here, let's go back to home here. Missouri House of Representatives. We want to go to, let's do the legislation. Click on that. And what we're going to want is, let's see, we want House Resolution, House Resolution 11. And it's in our current 2023 regular session. Hit search, and it pulls it up. And Patterson is the new floor leader. Dean Plocker was floor leader last year. Now Dean Plocker is Speaker of the House. And our new floor leader, Patterson, actually wrote this bill, which consolidates power further into the hands of the Speaker and floor leader. So we're going to click on this bill. Okay, now it shows you, first of all, co-sponsors, there were none. This thing came out, session only started on the 4th of this year, and this thing's already out and through a committee. So when you see bills like this come out first and they're trying to bust them through quick, that's a red flag. That tells you they're trying to sneak something through that most people aren't going to want, and I'm going to prove that to you real quick. So now we're going to go to actions. Okay, so basically, like I said, this thing was started on the 4th. The next day, it was already referred to a committee. And then on the 9th, which was yesterday, Monday, you had a public hearing completed. And then they also went and did the executive session later on that day, and they passed it. And it passed. There are 10 people in the committee. I'm going to pull up this committee here. Check this out. These are the people that are in the House Consent House Procedure Committee that this bill was in. And you have 7 Republicans, and you have 3 Democrats. Now, if you look back on that, let's see, which one was it? This one here. When they had the executive session, they passed it. There were 7 yeses, 3 noes. Now, I don't know exactly who voted who, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say it was a party, it was split down party lines because when I was watching the session, the testimonies or the session yesterday or whatever you want to call that, the Democrats were the ones speaking out against it hardest, that. So I'm going to say it was probably a party vote, but I could be wrong, but probably not. Anyways, you look at that, and now we're going to have let's click on hearings. Okay, I'll go back to action real quick. Now, what we're going to do, and the reason why I'm doing this video today is, in the other video yesterday, I was telling people, go fill out a test, an online testimony and send it in. And a lot of people did that. In fact, I'm going to go over here where it says testimony. It says witnesses. Let's click on that. Now, this is the newest one. The one I did earlier this morning, there were 660 people that filed. And I guess they're still going through and putting more out as they're finding them. But the one this morning, there were 2 people in support of, and the other 658 were against it. And on this one here, the latest one, I don't even see the ones in support of, so I don't know if they withdrew or what. There's only 2 people, and they didn't even state the reason why they supported it. They really didn't write much of anything. But you look at all these people that are in opposition to it. I mean, just look at all this stuff. Okay, got one right here. You do not need more power. You need less. Right? See, everybody realizes it's a power grab. I urge members of the House and committee to reject proposed changes. Okay, let's do some more. It is a very bad idea to leave important decisions in the hand of just one human being. It would give us much closer to living in a totalitarian state. I strongly oppose this proposed House rule. See, everybody sees through this. They all know what it is. No one person should have sole control. This is a republic. Let's get it straight. See, everybody, they all know it's a power grab and it's consolidating power. You got another person here. I'm in opposition unless many of the following items are not corrected. And that's pretty long. I ain't got that much time in this video, but you can feel free to come back and read these if you want. That way you don't have to take my word for anything. So you got more. Let's see. Hell, let's just scroll down real quick. Let's go down a way, see what we got. Okay, what's this guy saying? All representatives should be heard, that the people of the state are heard. To purposely stop representatives from speaking and putting forth their bills is wrong. We are a representative republic, therefore our elected representatives should be able to represent us. Push an agenda that silences those that are elected to speak for us is wrong. No man should be able to control and silence. Power should be equal and all power. People should be represented. So see, everybody knows this is a power grab. And nobody's going to be able to get a bill through, unless it's what the speaker, the floor leader wants. And I can tell you right now, go Dean Plocker, our new speaker, go check, see who donates money to him. Go do some research on that. It's all medical community, prosecutors and stuff like that. It's not the average person. And now he's consolidating power. So guess who you think he's going to be serving? Who you think is going to get short end of the stick that tries putting kind of good legislation through? Here's one. I oppose H.R. 11. That is the rules of the House of Representatives for the 102nd General Assembly. This will give too much power to the Speaker of the General Assembly. See, everybody with it, they know what's going on here. To control the flow and procedures of bills submitted by any duly elected representatives, except for the Speaker himself. Thank you for your time. Yeah, we got even more else. Let's go a little further. See what else we got. What we got here? While some rule changes in this bill are good, some give the Speaker of the House the power to subvert the will of the people and take away the power of the committees. This fact removes voices of the people, thus takes away the representation in government. Taxation without representation didn't work well for the British, and I do not think people in Missouri will welcome it either. Oops, I went too far up. Okay. Actually, let's see what we got here. Oops. Man, a lot of Patricias there. Wow. No, I am not in favor of HR 11 as I believe it will cause too much power to be concentrated in the hands of too few people, especially the speaker. Everyone knows it. They see this for what it is. Well, yeah, let's go down. Let's cruise down a little more. Go back this way. Okay. Now, I do know this guy. Pretty good friends. But I want to read what he really writes something great here. I have been a citizen active in Missouri politics for 25 years. In that time, I have seen abuses by leadership of both the House and Senate. H.R. 11 is another abuse. It takes more power away from the people and the elected body in the House and concentrates it on Speaker of the House. This is not acceptable, especially since Dean Plocker has clearly demonstrated that he has not been for the people on several occasions, and we're gonna talk about that before I end this video because I personally got to experience that. Okay, this is my state too. I am tired of fighting politicians in Jeff City that want more power at the expense of the people they represent. I suggest this body think in terms of decentralizing power in the Missouri House rather than concentrating it on one or two individuals on the basis that it represents the citizens better, where there is less concentration of power. It's very discouraging to me when we have to visit this subject from time to time to stop power hungry folks in Jefferson City. The Speaker of the House is supposed to be a leader, not a dictator. A real leader empowers others. A dictator takes power from others. I hope this committee makes the right decision, a decision to empower others rather than centralize power. Please throw away H.R. 11 and replace it with new rules that decentralize power in the Missouri House of Representatives. Thank you for your consideration, Patrick Holland. Well, unfortunately, they didn't heed his words. They went ahead and shoved this thing through, as as you seen earlier, as I showed you. And now I'm going to give you my experience that I had with Dean Plocker. Last year, there was actually 3 bills I was helping work on to try and get passed. One of them was House Bill 1992, Mary Elizabeth Coleman, which eliminated sales tax on food, and another one was 2009, which was Susie Pollock's bill, which gave parents the right to decide whether or not their kids should be immunized. And then there's another one, which one I really put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and that was HB 2118. It was called Enhanced Stand Your Ground. Personally, I like to call it innocent until proven guilty, because what that bill did is currently in the state of Missouri, what we have is if you use deadly force to defend yourself, you have to prove your innocence in court. Not the state, it's up to you. Now, most of us can't even most people can't even afford a lawyer. Imagine having to try and get a lawyer and then try and prove your innocence. In fact, if you think about it, that just goes against everything, at least, I mean, in our Constitution, everything else. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. I mean, gosh, we learned that. I learned that growing up as a little kid in the civics class. But for some reason, we have this insane draconian law. And what this bill would have done was reverse it and put the burden of proof upon the state. The prosecutors would have to prove you're guilty, which is how it's supposed to be. And I worked this bill hard. We got it through 2 committees in the House, and then it came time to go to the floor. We figured, okay, it's going to go to the floor. We kept watching the House calendars, and they kept moving it between the formal calendar and informal calendar. Every time it come where it was getting close to where its turn was going to come up to go to the floor, Dean Plocker would simply move it and put it over to the other calendar, and he kept switching it back and forth, and it never got on the floor. And that was the same thing with 1992, the sales tax on food. And I tell you what, as far as Susie Pollock's bill, that's a whole nother thing. I think I'll leave a link for that too down in the show notes of this video, so you might want to check that out too. All right. Now, anyways, with 2118, again, I call it the innocent until proven guilty bill. He kept switching it back and forth on the calendar, and it was not going to the floor. And after several days, I'm like, all right, I got to find out what's going on. So I tried and tried and tried to get a hold of this guy. I actually got a hold of his LA, or like a legislative assistant. Really very nice lady. We got to talking, and she told me that the three most popular bills that people called in or emailed, and wanting to see passed was number one was 2009 Susie Pollock's bill, the parents' choice when it comes to immunization. And the second one was 2118, the innocent until proven guilty bill. And the third one was the sales tax on food. And so when she's telling me that, I'm asking her, I said, well, how come he doesn't put these on the floor for, and have their, to be debated and then, voted on? And she couldn't give me an answer, and she said she'd check into it. Basically, make a long story short, he wouldn't put them on the floor. So I tried to get an audience with this dude, and finally, by almost a miracle, I managed to get a chance to talk to him at the end of one day. And we kind of went back and forth on the bill, being he's an ex-prosecutor, and like I said, he knows a lot of prosecutors. His money comes from medical, and law enforcement. That's where a lot of his donations come from, corporations and stuff. And basically, he was he wanted power to stay. He wanted power to stay with the prosecutors. He didn't want them to have to prove you're guilty. He'd rather the defendant prove their innocence, which that kind of scares me right there. That's how our law enforcement officers, the people we the people are supposed to make the laws and they're supposed to enforce them, and then they're trying to enforce something like this. But anyway, we got talking back and forth, and to make a long story short, he just basically told me, he said 2118 will never see the light of day. That's a quote. 2118 will never see the light of day. He never put it on the floor. The second most popular bill of last year, never put it on the floor. It died, even though it passed through two committees, he just sat on it until it timed out. That and also 1992. And like I said, I'm going to leave and as far as 2009, I'm going to leave a link for you to check out. You definitely want to check it out, because I ain't got time to explain it on here, but you want to check it out. But anyway, what I'm saying is, and that's the power this guy had back then. He would not let anything good through, even the most popular bills. And why would you not want to be innocent until proven guilty? And then here you have an ex-prosecutor that doesn't want it that way and would not let that bill through. So a lot of us already knew the kind of power that was being consolidated by Dean Plocker. Now he's Speaker of the House, and they're trying to change rules to consolidate even more power to him and less power to the people and the other, representatives. And that's why you're getting all these people sending this stuff in and pointing it out. They can't hide it. Everyone already knows. They're just trying to ramrod it through as fast as they can. And the reason why I'm bringing this up and showing you all this is, like I said, there's over 600 testimonies, and almost everybody, except maybe a couple of people, are opposed to this. So they all know what's going on here. And the reason why I want to bring this up is obviously show this to you, but there's something else I want to do too. Because I'm looking at all these people who are taking the time to do this and write in their reasons and stuff. What I'm going to do personally is I'm going to try and email as many of these people as I can and thank them for taking the time to fill these out. And I'm also going to encourage them, to keep doing it, to keep talking to, calling reps and senators, not just their own, but all of them. I mean, they all answer to us, period. But I'm going to encourage them to do that, and maybe, encourage them to go up to Jeff City. And I'm going to email that. Again, I'm going to thank these people and encourage them to do those things. And I'm going to try to do as many as I can. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Now, if any of you that are watching this think that's a good idea and want to do it, why don't somebody start from the bottom and work their way up? Maybe somebody in the middle go up or down one way, and then maybe we can email as many of these people as we can. Because what I'm thinking is, if a lot of these people, you never know, a lot of these people who sent this in, they might not know anybody else that's politically active or anything. They feel like they're isolated. Well, if you take the time to email and thank them, who knows, man? That may encourage them to keep doing this. And what would really be great, because when I email, I'm going to say, hopefully one day, we'll meet each other in Jeff City. And that's where we really need to get people to come in. Come to Jeff City and start talking face to face to our reps and senators. And especially for things like this and a lot of other stuff, anything else you're interested in. I'm trying to get more people involved. So that's basically what I'm going to do. That's basically what this video is about. So I'm going to try and take the time to thank these people. It's going to take me a little while to do this, but anybody else wants to do it, man, feel free to jump in. We need more people. I mean, you see what's going on here. If you already seen that hearing, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. If you haven't seen that hearing, go back and watch it. It's a couple hours and it's well worth it. Now, anyways, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to say thanks for watching. Oh, yeah, check the show notes and I'll leave the links and stuff. But with that said, thanks for watching. And if you like what you heard, spread the word.